Holy shit, what's that fat guy doing on my channel?
That's me. I'm Suris. I'm your voice.
Bullshit, I'm not that fat.
I'll prove it. Roll the intro.
Wait, that's my... So, whenever I talk to somebody close in my highly religious society that I've been brought up in, one question that comes up without fail is, what's the harm? Typically, one would like to cite instances of religious extremism solely, but I'd like to focus as well on some of the more subtle ways religion has harmed people. To start with, let's start out with Dr. Leonard Bailey. In a case back in October of 1984, a baby known as Baby Faye, for anonymity's sake, was born with a nearly always fatal heart condition. With no human hearts to spare, Dr. Leonard Bailey had to resort to using an animal heart, something highly controversial at the time and still in dispute today. He used a baboon's heart and went straight away to save the little girl's life. But sadly, 21 days later, Baby Faye had passed. Well, what happened? Well, there were a few complications to note. To start, Dr. Bailey didn't believe that evolution was a real thing, and baboons are not our closest relatives. Chimps are. Given the options to use chimps' hearts, he noted that they were smaller and dismissed them, even though the surgery was meant to be a temporary fix, and so waiting until a human heart became available would have probably allowed a smaller heart to do its job for a short time. Instead, he chose to use baboons' hearts as they were the closest in size to a human heart, and this decision led to Baby Faye's death. But why? The baboon had AB blood type, and Baby Faye had blood type 0. Now, we don't know if chimps with blood type 0 were available at the time, but whether they were or not wasn't even considered by the doctor, because as a fundamentalist Christian, he actively rejected evolution, even going so far as to say that the difference between the blood types would prove weaker than the difference between species. I find this story highly disgusting. Had this man not ignored the science behind evolution, a basic function of biology, he would have had more options available and could have possibly not only saved this infant's life, but taken the medical field one step further into the future in the process. Instead, he held on to his Bible and watched as a child's blood clotted and died. The body didn't even reject the heart. It was just the abnormal red blood cells that killed her from having the wrong blood type. This is scary stuff, and honestly, it's not something I expected to find when doing my research for this video. But it was just his belief, right? What's the harm? Or what about Deanna Laney, who killed 2 of her 3 children, leaving the third in critical condition after supposedly hearing instructions from God to do so? You might call this crazy, but let's be honest here. It's not unlike the God of the Bible. He told Abraham to kill his own son, and he himself sent Jesus down to be murdered as well. Is it really that much of a stretch to think that God would order a woman to do this? Not really. She pled insanity, and her last remaining child was said to be never truly self-sufficient again after the incident. This is a mother, people. A mother who, for all intents and purposes, may have loved her kids dearly, but the minute that she thought she was being faced with the dilemma of faith, she chose faith and killed her children in the name of God. It is absolutely sickening, but it's just her faith, right? What's the harm? Or the Shables, a pair of parents who, instead of using modern medicine to treat their sick child, chose to use faith healing instead, resulting in the child's death in 2009. They were sentenced to 10 years probation for involuntary manslaughter, but later on down the road with one other child, they did the same thing, resulting in the death of 2 of their children total. When pressed, they said that modern medicine violated their religious beliefs and instead preferred to believe in divine healing. These parents have killed 2 of their children and still cling to their holy book and claim innocence. It's all God's work, but it's not God's work. It's the negligence of stupid, brainwashed parents who cling to a religion that has helped them believe in a misrepresentation of the facts that led to 2 deaths in their family. Stuff like this is absolutely horrifying, but it was their faith, right? Their belief. What's the harm in that? It's not just the Christian faith either. What about Rohingya? There have been massacres of the Muslim population by Buddhist vigilantes or Muslims attacking security outposts in the same region. A lot of that violence is being centered around religious values from both parties, and even though the Muslim minority seems to be suffering the most, It's just their beliefs, right? What's the harm? Or in recent memory, a Sifa, who was an 8-year-old Muslim girl raped and killed by a member of an opposing Hindu village. That case is still going on to determine exactly what led to those actions, even though there's speculation that it was meant to send a message to the other Muslims in the village, but it's just beliefs, right? What's the harm? The truth is, beliefs influence actions, and no matter how much cognitive dissonance you can manage, it won't change the families who throw their children out for being homosexual and thus are considered abominations of God. It doesn't stop full-scale slaughters and oppression leading to mass exoduses of refugees out of majority Muslim countries. It doesn't stop infants dying to parental negligence thanks to a damnable holy book. It doesn't stop the murder of children to send a message from one religion to another. The fact of the matter is that it's beliefs, but beliefs inspire actions, and actions do real harm in the real world, while people hold on to tokens to get them into the next life, whether it be heaven or through reincarnation, and those types of beliefs tarnish the value of human lives in the here and now, and it needs to stop. I've said it before, I have no issue with theists. You can believe what you want, but please be informed of what that idea means on a global scale. There is a difference between theists and theism causes demonstrable harm. This is why I'm an anti-theist. I know this was a more emotional take on things than I normally put out, but links to the cases I mentioned will be in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and welcome to all of my new subscribers who came at the behest of Telltale Atheist. I've had a wonderful time chatting with all of you in the comment sections, and I can't wait to continue to do so. With that said, everyone, I'll see you in the next one.